On a warm summer morning in August 2016, 18-year-old Tyler Turner stood on the edge of a small runway in San Joaquin County, California. He had just graduated high school and was weeks away from starting a new life at the University of California, Merced. He had earned a full scholarship in biochemical engineering. Born with a mild form of cerebral palsy, Tyler walked with a crouched gait, but his spirit was limitless. He was kind, bright, and fiercely determined to use his life to help others like him. That August, a friend invited him to go skydiving to celebrate a birthday. Tyler was nervous, of course. He was. But he was also eager to embrace the moment. It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and he didn't want to live with the regret of saying no. He told his mother, Francine Turner, about it. She was immediately concerned. The thought of her only son jumping out of an airplane terrified her. But she agreed to tag along for support and to take pictures. Maybe it would calm her nerves, seeing it all firsthand. On the morning of August 6th, Tyler and Francine drove over an hour north to the Lodi Parachute Center. It's a name that now echoes through the skydiving community, not because of its excellence, but because of its dark and deadly history. Since 1985, there have been 28 deaths connected to jumps from this facility, and yet it stayed open. When Tyler and his friends walked inside, everything seemed casual. He paid $100 for a tandem skydive from 13,000 feet. For a first-time jumper, a tandem skydive is the safest option. You're harnessed to a trained, certified instructor who's supposed to guide the entire experience, from jump-in to opening the parachute to landing safely. Tyler's instructor that day was a 25-year-old named Yong Kwon. He told Tyler he had completed more than 700 jumps, far above the required 500. Tyler felt reassured. But what none of them knew, what no customer could have known, was that Yong Kwon had been trained by a fraud. That fraud was Robert Pooley, a skydiving instructor from Acampo, California. He once held credentials as a tandem examiner, allowing him to certify new instructors. But in 2015, those credentials were revoked. Rather than step down, Pooley went underground. He forged signatures from certified examiners, conducted illegal training sessions, and lied to over 100 aspiring instructors, including Kwon, charging them each around $1,100. Many of them believed they were fully qualified when, in truth, their training would never hold up under proper scrutiny. One might argue that Kwon himself was a victim, but his inexperience, enabled by Pooley, proved fatal. At Lodi, things already felt off. Tyler and his mother sat down to watch a safety video, a basic but important step. But halfway through, an instructor walked in and turned it off, saying they'd seen enough. Francine was stunned. How could you cut a safety briefing short before someone's first jump? But again, these were supposed to be professionals. After getting into his harness, Tyler hugged his mom. "I love you," he said. Then, he made his way to the staging area. He was nervous, jittery, and his instructor noticed. To ease the tension, Kwon pulled out a camera and began filming a little pre-jump interview with Tyler. It worked, for a while. Just before boarding, Tyler knelt to pray. He stood up, turned around, and gave his mom one last hug. Then, he boarded the plane. At around 10:30 a.m., Tyler Turner and Yong Kwon jumped. And they never made it back. Neither the main parachute nor the reserve deployed. The pair plummeted to the ground, crashing into a nearby vineyard. They both died on impact. Francine Turner witnessed the aftermath of her son's death. Her life changed in an instant. Her only child, gone. The investigation that followed pointed directly to Robert Pooley's fraudulent instructor program, but it also raised bigger questions. How could a facility with 28 deaths since the mid-'80s still be operating with so little oversight? Why was there no mechanism to prevent someone like Pooley from continuing his scheme? And What responsibility lies with the man who owned the Lodi Parachute Center? William Dawes, the center's longtime owner, has a long and controversial history in the skydiving world. He was sued in a wrongful death lawsuit brought by Tyler's family and was ordered to pay $40 million. As of 2023, the Turner family hadn't received a cent, and yet Dawes continues to run the facility. Let that sink in. 28 deaths, dozens of lawsuits, a fraudulent training program, a facility that, at best, was negligent, and at worst, enabled a culture of recklessness and shortcuts. Yes, Robert Pooley deserves blame. He lied, he cheated, and he trained instructors who had no business taking people up into the sky. But he is not the only one responsible. There's also a system, or lack of one, that allowed this to happen. The oversight of skydiving operations in the U.S. is murky, often left to private associations. There's no federal licensing requirement for skydiving instructors. And the FAA, while involved in regulating aircraft and parachute systems, has limited power over how training is conducted on the ground. In 2024, Pooley was convicted of wire fraud and sentenced to 2 years in prison. 2 years. That's it. For a scheme that created dozens of unqualified instructors. For the lie that helped kill an 18-year-old kid with dreams of curing disease and changing the world. And for every life that was risked by the illusion of safety. Tyler Turner deserved better. So did his mother. So do all the families who trusted the professionals of Lodi. But, in the end, it was just business. Money exchanged hands. Rules were bent or ignored entirely. And an adventurous teenager paid the ultimate price for someone else's greed.